Following the collapse of the Akkadians, the Babylonian Empire flourished under Hammurabi, who conquered many surrounding peoples and empires, in addition to developing an extensive code of law and establishing Babylon as a holy city of southern Mesopotamia. Following the disintegration of the Akkadian Empire, the Sumerians rose up with the third dynasty of Ur in the late 22nd century BCE, and ejected the barbarian Gutians from southern Mesopotamia. The Sumerian Ur III dynasty eventually collapsed at the hands of the Elamites, another Semitic people, in 2002 BCE. Conflicts between the Amorites, Western Semitic nomads, and the Assyrians continued until Sargon I, 1920 to 1881 BCE, succeeded as king in Assyria and withdrew Assyria from the region, leaving the Amorites in control, the Amorite period. One of these Amorite dynasties founded the city-state of Babylon circa 1894 BCE, which would ultimately take over the others and form the short-lived First Babylonian Empire, also called the Old Babylonian period. A chieftain named Sumuabum appropriated the then relatively small city of Babylon from the neighboring Mesopotamian city-state of Kazallu, turning it into a state in its own right. Sumuabum appears never to have been given the title of king, however. Babylon remained a minor territory for a century after it was founded, until the reign of its sixth Amorite ruler, Hammurabi, 1792 to 1750 BCE. He was an efficient ruler, establishing a centralized bureaucracy with taxation. Hammurabi freed Babylon from Elamite dominance, and then conquered the whole of southern Mesopotamia, bringing stability and the name of Babylonia to the region. The armies of Babylonia under Hammurabi were well disciplined, and he was able to invade modern-day Iran to the east and conquer the pre-Iranic Elamites, Gutians, and Kassites. To the west, Hammurabi enjoyed military success against the Semitic states of the Levant, modern Syria, including the powerful kingdom of Mari. Hammurabi also entered into a protracted war with the old Assyrian Empire for control of Mesopotamia and the Near East. Assyria had extended control over parts of Asia Minor from the 21st century BCE, and from the latter part of the 19th century BCE had asserted itself over northeast Syria and central Mesopotamia as well. After a protracted, unresolved struggle over decades with the Assyrian king Ishme-Dagon, Hammurabi forced his successor, Mutashkar, to pay tribute to Babylon c. 1751 BCE, thus giving Babylonia control over Assyria's centuries-old Hattian and Hurrian colonies in Asia Minor. One of the most important works of this first dynasty of Babylon was the compilation in about 1754 BCE of a code of laws, called the Code of Hammurabi, which echoed and improved upon the earlier written laws of Sumer, Akkad, and Assyria. It is one of the oldest deciphered writings of significant length in the world. The code consists of 282 laws, with scaled punishments depending on social status, adjusting an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Nearly one half of the code deals with matters of contract. A third of the code addresses issues concerning household and family relationships. From before 3000 BC until the reign of Hammurabi, the major cultural and religious center of southern Mesopotamia had been the ancient city of Nippur, where the god Enlil reigned supreme. However, with the rise of Hammurabi, this honor was transferred to Babylon, and the god Marduk rose to supremacy, with the god Ashur remaining the dominant deity in Assyria. The city of Babylon became known as a holy city, where any legitimate ruler of southern Mesopotamia had to be crowned. Hammurabi turned what had previously been a minor administrative town into a major city, increasing its size and population dramatically, and conducting a number of impressive architectural works. Despite Hammurabi's various military successes, southern Mesopotamia had no natural, defensible boundaries, which made it vulnerable to attack. After the death of Hammurabi, his empire began to disintegrate rapidly. Under his successor Samsu-iluna, 1749 to 1712 BCE, the far south of Mesopotamia was lost to a native Akkadian king, called Ilama-ili, and became the Sealand dynasty. It remained free of Babylon for the next 272 years. Both the Babylonians and their Amorite rulers were driven from Assyria to the north by an Assyrian Akkadian governor named Puzur-Sin, c. 1740 BCE. Amorite rule survived in a much reduced Babylon. Samshu-iluna's successor, Abi-Ishu, made a vain attempt to recapture the Sealand dynasty for Babylon, but met defeat at the hands of King Damkhi-ilishu II. By the end of his reign, Babylonia had shrunk to the small and relatively weak nation it had been upon its foundation. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out other tracks as well. Show your love by hitting the subscribe button and do like, comment and share, to spread knowledge. See you next time. Till then, keep learning for fun.